We have just 3 questions for you. What is your name? What is your quest? What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? If you're like most people, it was probably easy to answer 2 of those 3 questions. We all know our names, and a simple Google search can give us the other answer: 24 miles per hour. For all of you hardcore Monty Python fans, that velocity is for a European swallow. So let's talk about the question that's a little bit harder. What is your quest? It's not hard to imagine that if we added up all the hours spent trying to figure out life, for some of us, they would outweigh the hours spent actually living life. Really, living life. We all know how to worry about our lives, analyze our lives, even speculate about our lives. Worry, analysis, and speculation are not our best discovery tools, and most of us have at one time or another gotten incredibly lost and confused using them. They tend to keep us spinning in circles and spending weeks, months, or years sitting on that couch or at a desk or in a relationship trying to figure out what to do next. It's as if life were this great big DIY project, but only a select few actually got the instruction manual. This is not designing your life. This is obsessing about your life. We're here to change that. And the questions we're ultimately asking are the same ones the Greeks started asking in the 5th century BC, and we've all been asking ever since. What is the good life? How do you define it? How do you live it? Throughout the ages, people have been asking the same questions. Why am I here? What am I doing? Why does it matter? What is my purpose? What's the point of it all? Life design is a way for you to figure out your own answers to these perennial questions and to figure out your own good life. My answers to why am I here and what am I doing and why does it matter are going to be different from Bill's answers, and our answers are going to be different from yours. But we are all asking the same questions, and we can all find answers for our own lives. In the last chapter, you answered one of our favorite questions: how's it going? A question we often ask in our office hours. If you filled in your life design dashboard, you now know where your gauges are full and where they're running on empty. And knowing what's on your life design dashboard is the first step in designing your life. The next step is building your compass. Building your compass. You need 2 things to build your compass: a work view and a life view. To start out, we need to discover what work means to you. What is work for? Why do you do it? What makes good work good? If you discover and are able to articulate your philosophy of work, what it's for and why you do it, you will be less likely to let others design your life for you. Developing your own work view is one component of the compass you are building. A life view is second. Now, life view may sound a bit lofty, but it's really not. Everyone has a life view. You may not have articulated it before, but if you are alive, you have a life view. A life view is simply your ideas about the world and how it works. What gives life meaning? What makes your life worthwhile or valuable? How does your life relate to others in your family, your community, and the world? What do money, fame, and personal accomplishment have to do with a satisfying life? And how important are experience, growth, and fulfillment in your life? Once you've written your work view and your life view and completed the simple exercise that follows, you'll have your compass and be on the path toward a well-designed life. Don't worry. We know that your work view and life view will change. It's obvious that the work view and life view you have as a teenager, as a young college grad, and as an empty nester will all be substantially different. The point is, you don't have to have it all figured out for the rest of your life. You just have to create the compass for what life is about for you right now. Parker Palmer, a renowned educational reformer and author of Let Your Life Speak, says that at one point he suddenly realized he was doing a noble job of living someone else's life. Parker was emulating his great heroes, Martin Luther King Jr., Gandhi, both great social justice leaders of the 1950s and 60s. Because he valued their sentiments and goals, he set his path in the world by their compass, not his own, and worked hard to change the educational system from within. He earned a PhD at UC Berkeley and was on track to reach his goal of becoming a respected university president. That was all well and good, but Parker hated it. He came to the realization that he could be inspired by people like Martin Luther King and Gandhi, but that didn't mean he had to walk their same path. He ended up redesigning his life as a thought leader and writer, still working for the same goals, but in a way that was less about imitation and more about authenticity. The point is, there are lots of powerful voices in the world and lots of powerful voices in our heads, all telling us what to do or who to be. And because there are many models for how life is supposed to be lived, we all run the risk, like Parker, of accidentally using someone else's compass and living someone else's life.